Hey sports fans, are you ready for an exhilarating gaming experience? Introducing VIPClub.lv, your ultimate online sportsbook and casino. VIPClub.lv offers a vast selection of sports, from football and basketball to tennis and baseball. Bet on your favorite teams and enjoy the thrill of the game. But that's not all. Our state-of-the-art online casino offers a dazzling array of games, including slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer tables. Win big with their fantastic promotions, rewards, and exclusive offers. Join VIPClub.lv today and get a generous 200% match welcome bonus to start your winning streak. And make sure to use code ECSI at sign-up. Bet it, win it, and cash it at VIPClub.lv. Visit VIPClub.lv now and play responsibly. VIPClub.lv, your sportsbook and casino extravaganza. Must be 21 or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Visit gambleware.org for help.
Good evening, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host today, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. I was talking to Riley backstage. It's been a while since I've been here. Of course, Riley pulling the toe, as I like to say, on the closing bell. Can't thank him enough for that. 2 weeks from today, 4th of July. Where is the time gone? Shout out to our new sponsor, VIPClub.lv. At exit, at checkout, use ECSI. Tell them JD sent you. They'll take care of you. The best customer service around. Shout out to the men behind the glass, Ben Cohen, Joseph Shea, and, of course, Mr. Cade Horton. Today, the MLB numbers are crazy. We were talking about some stuff backstage, some eye-openers, some stench, as we like to say here. And myself and Riley are going to break these down. We're going to try to get you up to speed for the ECSI VIPs. 1-1 last night. We got you-know-what by the Reds team total, stuck on stupid. Bases loaded, bottom of the eighth, couldn't get one across. Rockies come back with first and third, no outs, can't tie it. Some of the props, Fernando Tatis, I think, plus 300 gets thrown out trying to steal third and the first. McMahon, first and third in the top of the ninth to get the run hits and RBIs, which has been smoking. A loss. We needed something from him there, but as a whole, 2-1 on those. And the VIPs, your text and your email is out, so please get to the window. If you're not a part of a state that you can get some props, shop around, try to see. Does VIP have your questions and answers? Is it DraftKings? Is it FanDuel? Find somewhere. Go offshore. I don't care. There's a lot going on here. It's only week 3, and when we get closer to football, it's going to be big, big, and bigger. So without further ado, let's bring in my co-host, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, Chip?
What is up, my friend? Happy Tuesday afternoon. I am doing well, my friend. Good to see you. It has been a while since you and I have been able to do these shows, so I am glad to tackle this MLB slate with you. As you mentioned, goofy numbers going on tonight. And I think the only thing I didn't mention in open, I know, and I haven't been able to give out any expert opinion by any means, but I've been enjoying it with my popcorn. College World Series. One game going on right now and another one this evening. So I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that one. I haven't looked too deep into it. Like I said, I'm no expert. I've been grabbing my phone each night and enjoying it. But that one, couple elimination games today, and one looks a little grim for the underdog, Oral Roberts. But nonetheless, it's been fun to watch. So aside from that, glad to get rolling today and tackle what we've got going on this evening, my friend.
Shout out to Connor, who's always here. Thank you for all the trust and support, Connor. Speaking of the college baseball, it was funny. We dipped our toes in Friday night, I think it was. We had Virginia, nice little dog against Florida, 5-3, bottom of the ninth. And the Gators scored not once, not twice, but 3 times, 6-5, and haven't dipped our toes in since. I watched the Wake Forest-Tennessee game last night. That was awesome. And Tennessee LSU must-watch TV. And anyone following the college, if you haven't seen Paul Skeens pitch, you better make time and find him pitch. Will be the number one person in the draft this this year for MLB. No questions asked there. Shout out to TJ. What is up, TJ? So without further ado, had our show this morning with Julian Edlow and DraftKings. The last show with Julian till August 14th. He's got 7 weeks off. Must be nice. But we talked some NBA. We talked the Bradley Beal move, which sets up Miami for Lillard. Zion Williamson, where Charlotte had said that they were moving him. Now the sex tape or whatever's going on there.
New Orleans, you mean?
New Orleans, yes. Charlotte, of course, Michael Jordan. I think, did he spend? $750 million, and 13 years later, it's worth 2.5. Michael always wins. That's all I know.
Yep.
That's all I know. But I know you love the NBA. Give me some NBA talks. Your thoughts on the moves. Is Lillard coming over to Miami, or he says, I want to stick and stay. Just bring Zion over. I'll be all set there. The draft coming up in 2 days. Talk some NBA.
No, I'm happy to, honestly. As far as the Bradley Beal trade, it seemed like it was I don't even know how long at this point, 2 years in the making, where he was going to go somewhere. And obviously the Suns trying to go all in and, still obviously have some holes to fill and have some depth to fill now. But no, I mean, they're getting aggressive. They've got a pretty terrifying offense if Bradley Beal is, unless Bradley Beal breaks back out into a couple of years ago what he was. He's your third option. That's on any night. That's obviously could be pretty terrifying if things are working correctly there. But I think as far as Lillard, it is tricky because he's kind of in a rare space now in the NBA where he stayed loyal to his team. And he's always kind of clamored for help to come his way, and the Portland Trail Blazers just haven't really been able to do that. And I don't know what moves they can do to do that this time around also. So I would absolutely be all right with, as a massive Damian Lillard fan, would be all right with him getting moved somewhere. And the Heat obviously probably feel like they're one player like that away from climbing the mountain potentially, or at least getting back to that spot that they were just in. So aside from that, I'm drawing a blank if I'm forgetting something you mentioned, but my Bulls themselves, some rumors as far as what they might do with Zach LaVine are the stove a little bit warm as far as that is concerned. So I'm not sure what they can do and what flexibility they have, but obviously if they do that, kind of just at a point where they feel like they need to shake something up, otherwise they're going to be stuck in this 35 to 40 win stretch at best these next 3 to 4 years with the personnel they have. So I would be all right with it as far as that is concerned. Zach LaVine and whatever else that means, I don't know, but was there something else you mentioned, or was that covering the bases there aside from maybe MJ and Charlotte?
What do you think? Is Zion going to get moved?
I don't think so. I think that would be I think it would be aggressive by New Orleans. I think this whatever stuff is going on in the media right now, unless it turns real sour and it's any type of, I don't want to put words into, any stories' mouths by any means, unless it's some type of domestic violence or something like that, which it doesn't appear to be. I don't think this is going to really drive him out of there that much. So I don't think that's going to happen as far as Zion. I think that would be, with how many games he's played there, I think that would be a massive failure for New Orleans to admit to go ahead and move on from him there. So obviously if they can get a ridiculous package that works out for him, then go ahead. But, I mean, you saw what they were this past season when they were all healthy and he was especially, playing. If they believe that he's going to be a 40 to 50 guy regular season player, then maybe they do make that move if that's what they, conclude. And, obviously wouldn't be a stretch to go ahead and conclude that and admit that. But at the end of the day, I mean, you saw what they've, what they're capable of these last couple of years, the moves they made when he's healthy and out there. So I would be surprised if they went ahead and did that. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I would be really surprised, like you mentioned, if the Blazers are adding, obviously Damian wants them to add, but they've never really been at a point where they've, added that type of talent. So I would be more leaning towards Damian Lillard getting moved and definitely more leaning towards Zion not really going anywhere. And this is just more of a, middle of June into July off-season type stuff as far as Zion is concerned.
Yeah, for me, the Beal move didn't didn't do anything. You know, when KD came over, everyone ran to the window. No one's going to beat Phoenix. Chris Paul, as we know, can't finish a playoff series. Now he's all in an uproar because he finds out on a plane that he got moved. I'm like, damn, Chris, when's the last time that you played in the playoffs and stayed healthy? And now, so you add Beal. I get that part, but I'm hearing Aiden now available, and they need someone just to protect the rim. Aiden's one of these guys that wants to score his 18-20. There's not enough balls there for him to get that. So as I've mentioned to Julian, I'll ask you this. We have the guy they need in Robert Williams. Just you need someone to protect the rim, alley-oop every once in a while. Now, he's another one that can't stay on the court. Would that be a flip-flop that if you were a Celtic guy, you'd take Aiden and move Williams, or vice versa? If you were the Suns, would you move Aiden for Williams, or is it just, no, we like what we got?
I think if you're the Suns, you definitely consider that, maybe with probably some picks or something else coming along with that probably too. But on paper with Ayton, now I'm drawing a blank if he was the first, second, or third pick whenever he went out. I honestly don't remember, top three, whatever it was. You're obviously your fans are probably feeling some type of way if you're moving on from him to someone who isn't filling up the stat sheet, Robert Williams. But to fill that need, I think it's from the Suns' perspective, I think that would be fantastic. As far as the Celtics, as he's shaking something up a little bit to see if he can get over that hump. I don't think it's a terrible thought by any means. So I don't hate where you're at. There's probably more to it than a straight flip there, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it for both ways in a lot of ways there from that perspective, honestly.
I think it would be that shakeup. The fact that, listen, we know if Williams is healthy, what he can bring to the table, but he again is like Zion, never on the court when you need him. And I think it would be if you're going to now be able to keep Brown, which now Brown's that Brown camp is silent. I mean, The bottom line is he wants his 290, and I guess you can sign him on July 1st if you want to somewhere around there. But the Celtics actually have all this year to manipulate this. You don't want an angry Jalen, but in the same token, if it was me, I'd call the Suns and you need some kind of shakeup. And I would take a swing with an Aiden Brown and Tatum. And I still think, here's the sad thing, the Brogdon, I love Brogdon. He played hurt. He couldn't lift his shoulder. Yeah. I'd move Smart before moving Brogdon. Brogdon's sixth man, new place. He's a great teammate, great locker room guy. I've seen enough of Flop Smart that I think it's time to move.
Oh, yeah, and like you said, you don't want to piss off Jaylen Brown because then you're going to lose all leverage if he decides that he doesn't want to do anything and he's not going to play for the Celtics again. Then you have to get rid of him, and you'll take pennies on the dollar for him. So like you said, you don't want to do that. It does seem like as much as, Marcus Smart can contribute in certain ways, he obviously can go the opposite ways and hurt you in a lot of ways. So I understand that as far as looking for some shakeup, but and so I agree with that for sure. And you and I are on the same page with Brogdon. As long as he can get back to healthy, he's an under the radar, really important piece to it that would help out a lot of teams if he is healthy. That's obviously the key word there. So, no, I think the Celtics, if they make the right one or two moves, it could absolutely be right back in the same spot that they were last year with a better, more complete team that's ready to tackle that postseason. I mean, so many of these teams this past year, as good as they were in a lot of respects, there were so many teams with flaws that were the type of flaws that just were bound to show up at some point, and the Nuggets were the one team that really just didn't have those glaring flaws. So if there's a lot of teams that you could say that for as far as making the one or two right moves, but the Celtics case, it's almost one of the easier cases of making one or two tweaks, or at least to shake it up and try and fix things, and I think they could do it.
Yeah, and Gallinari picked up the option, so he'll be ready. Another guy that collected a check all year, and must be nice just getting paid every 2 weeks and never having to play or anything like that. So that's that. Give you a couple seconds. I know right now that the Packers stock, whether it's fantasy, whether if it's in the division, whether it's the NFC and the Super Bowl, their stock couldn't be at it's at an all-time low price right now. Mm-hmm. And now if you go out in OTAs, Jordan Love looks like Brett Favre, and all of a sudden Christian Walker, Dobbs, Jones, yada, 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 defense playing great. Well, now the stock's going to rise. So Give us the temperature in Packerville.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't even want to know where to start, honestly. As I still don't know, like you said, you get to OTAs, and I'm sure Jordan Love will, have some flashes. There'll be days where he threw 3 interceptions today. I don't know what to expect, and I don't think anyone really knows what to expect. I personally am at a spot where I don't think he's going to be bad. I don't think this is going to be the two, you had the two during Aaron Rodgers' tenure, you had the 2 seasons where he's gone for 8, whatever it is, extended half a seasons. And the 1 year you piece together Matt Flynn and it works out. The other year you're sticking with Brett Hundley. I think it's going to be better than those situations. And at worst, he could be a mediocre quarterback. That's where I'm at. And obviously, I'd be more than thrilled if it's better than that. But I'm with you as far as buying low on some of these guys right now. And maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think. And Christian Watson obviously was better than Romeo Doubs last year. Not even a question. Obviously, Watson was a Rookie of the Year contender. There's a world, and it's already been kind of said, that Romeo Doubs and Jordan Love might have significantly better rapport and chemistry than Doubs and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you had the I don't remember what interview it was, that and rightfully so, they're 20 years apart, where he's like, what type of stuff do you do off the field? And he's like, well, we don't hang out off the field. And then kind of an uproar in certain spots. Well, it's where they're 20 years apart. I do get it. But at the end of the day, this is a spot where, he's coming into year 2, and the Packers have had a good history of finding first-round guys that do develop after year 1, year 2, whatever it is. Devontae Adams was a borderline bust in his first year and a half or so. So I do think there is a world where you could buy low on Romeo Doubs, and he could have a really solid dark horse, at minimum 800 yards, 5 touchdowns, and potentially even better than that. I think Christian Watson could be really good. There's a world where he could have, be a little more sporadic and have, awesome weeks like he did have last year, but also have some weeks where 2 catches for 15 yards and he's just not a part of the offense. So I think, as much as I really am excited for Christian Watson, and I'm not saying he's going to have a bad year by any means. I hope he has a fantastic year. I think his stock is probably higher than what, the actual product will end up being this, upcoming season. So I'm certainly not saying you should stay away from him by any means. I'm just saying you shouldn't sell the farm for Christian Watson necessarily, as much as I think he could have a very good year. As far as the running backs are concerned, I'm still a huge Aaron Jones fan as long as he can stay healthy. A.J. Dillon just came out the other day and said he's kind of hell-bent on having a better year this year. I still don't know what to expect with that. Obviously, if the offense is moving along and productive, then the running backs will be productive. The offense isn't productive, and they're going to be, passing from behind 10, 14 points all season long, then, obviously the running back production is going to be a little sporadic. Aaron Jones probably have a lot, higher reception total there, but I'm still a person that's always going to believe in A.J. Dillon the second half of the season, when the weather in Lambeau Field and Chicago and wherever else gets to 15 degrees and nobody wants to tackle that guy. So you'll probably still again see me in November, December throwing in A.J. Dillon touchdown props all November and December. But I think that's a feeling out process as far as the first couple of months, as far as, is he going to look exactly like he did last year, where he's slow out of the gates and then finally breaks out? Or is he going to come out of the gates hell-bent a little bit? So I don't know what to expect from him necessarily. Maybe a little better start than he had last year, but still probably similar, progress later into the season. So I think you could see a really nice outbreak from Aaron Jones early in the season. And then defensively, I'm a little torn. I think it could be real similar to last season. A lot of critics for Joe Brady as far as the defensive coordinator. And I've been in that spot a lot of times, but at the end of the season, these last couple of years, they have been, and of course, obviously in this upcoming season, you probably can't wait until the last 2-3 weeks of the season. But the last 2-3 weeks into the season and into the playoffs, the defense was, reaching a much higher level than what they had been the first half of these last couple of seasons. So as far as that is concerned, I don't know what to expect. If they're playing soft coverage for the first 10 weeks of the season, then you're probably going to hear the same issues with Joe Brady as far as that is concerned. So you obviously, a big part of the defense though is getting Rashawn Gary back. He I want to say it was 6 games he played the first half of the season he played, and then I was out the second half, had 6 sacks for the first 4 weeks or something like that, and then got hurt. So that's massive for the pass rush. If he's not back and at full strength, then that's an issue. And then safeties are the big issue as far as defense is concerned. Our safeties obviously lost Adrian Amos, who in my opinion was kind of under the radar, massive underperformer last year was already starting to hit the back nine of the career, or just didn't have the same juice, whatever it was. And so safeties are going to be an issue again this year. And so hopefully you've got Jair Alexander ready to roll into. I'm honestly drawing a blank if it's year 4, year 5, whatever it is, but. He talks a big game. I think he's one of the best 10 corners in the game, but he talks as if he's the bona fide number 1 greatest cornerback of all time. He's still got a lot of work to do to prove that level of things, and I think he's capable of that. And so obviously, there's a big difference between being top 3 and top 10. So hopefully he can elevate a little bit further than where he's been. He's very good, but still needs to elevate a little bit further. And then, some of the young guys that they've had on defense, obviously, if they can take a big step, Quay Walker, Eric Stokes, if those guys can take a big step, then the defense could actually be top 10 defense, top 5 defense if everyone obviously progresses. That's obviously a perfect world. But you've got a lot of young guys that have had some issues that could progress. But, there's at the end of the day, there are a couple holes there. So I've got some optimism about it. I don't think it's going to be a total dumpster fire by any means. I do kind of like buying low on the Packers right now across the board in a lot of senses. Not saying they're winning the division necessarily. I still think the Lions have a lot of pieces there. But I obviously am a homer, but I disagree with anyone putting the Packers at 4 necessarily in the NFC North. I think they could surprise a few people that are putting them in that respect there. I'm not saying they're making the playoffs, not saying they're going all the way, or winning the division, but I think they'll surprise some people in a lot of respects this year.
All right. MLB board is yours. Let's have at it.
All righty. First game up, hour and a half away or so. Let's see. Got to switch my notes here. Atlanta and Philly, you and I were talking just a second, or at least mentioned this one earlier. Atlanta and Philly, both teams on a 6-game win streak. Strider versus Rangers. Suarez 1 earned run or less in his last 3. He's had a handful of starts under his belt now and is looking a lot better. Strider, worst couple of starts of the season. 8 earned runs, 5 earned runs last 2. 7 and 8 hits allowed in each of those 2 games, highest of his season. So now you're obviously looking to bounce back from that. But Atlanta, 46-26 against 38-34 Philly. Minus 150 on the money line I'm seeing, and plus 110 on the run line there. So I'm not saying I'm cannonballing into the deep end against Spencer Strider here, but obviously not quite the spot you would completely respect that, especially with Atlanta. I don't know if they're the second best team in baseball right now. I haven't looked at the standings from that respect. But anyways, 14-8 and 10-14 these last 4 games, and then it's only minus 150 with Strider on the mound. When you add all of that up, obviously Philly's on a 6-game win streak, and Suarez is pitching great, but I don't respect it as much as I would like to, as if I'm cannonballing into things here with the Braves, Jeff.
No, this is one of the few. There's a few out there that buyer beware. When Spencer Strider gets on the mound, when he's at home, for the most part, he's going to be 2-1 favorites.
Yeah.
When he's on the road against an opponent like the Phillies, and I know the Phillies, as you said, have won 6 in a row. I don't see Steve Carlton on the other side. I don't see, Strasburg. I don't see Max. I could just keep going. I could name some more Philly guys if you guys want. Wheeler, Nola. What else do you guys want? The fact is the number smells to holy hell. Strider has been hit his last few times out. I don't know if they're setting us up. I'm just looking right now, the Circa minus 146. Our friends at South Point, Chris Andrews, Jimmy Vaccaro, good evening, minus 140. Team totals, 4.5 over for the Braves and 3.5 over for the Phillies. An under-over of 9.5 overnight. Now 8.5. I'll go on record. First 1 to 5, and I'm going to say it's the Phillies tonight. That's what I'm going to say. It smells too much to me.
It does smell like that. When I first thought about it, it smelled a little bit, and then you break everything down, and it really starts to smell on you too. And the last thing to add on top of it, Strider in his career against, which obviously isn't long, but I'm sure has seen the Phillies a handful of times. Sample size of 10 to 13 at bats. The only person that's got the only person that's got a 300 average, or even the only person that's got over 200 average against him is 3 for 10 lifetime against him. Alec Baum, 7th hitter in the lineup. So everyone else is, hitting a $110 or less against him right now. So there's some stink to it for sure. So maybe Ranger Suarez has got the stuff, or maybe Strider's got 3 straight ugly ones in him. So moving on to Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Kyle Bradish, Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow obviously he's had a handful of starts under his belt now. Last time out, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 6 Ks last time out. And Bradish on the other side, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, only 1 K though, 22 balls put in play. Drawing a blank who it was against, but 22 balls in play. I think the start before that he had 10 strikeouts and then turned around with only 1. Rays right now 3-4 at Oakland and San Diego over the last week and weekend on the West Coast. Orioles lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs this past weekend. Where are you at with these 2 teams? Obviously, Orioles 44-27. You've got Glasnow on the mound, who's looked really good in some spots, but still, I don't think he's gone past 6 innings quite yet. So still kind of getting the, I don't want to say training wheels off, but you know what I mean. This is only start number 5 for him here. Any interest in diving into this one yet, or are you waiting for Glasnow to get rolling a little bit?
Your first thought process is, how do I get into Glasnow? And it would be first 5 minus the hook. I don't basically preach about going, full game minus the 1.5. You're not guaranteed that 9th inning. Only 24 guaranteed outs. But the more I dig into this game, they didn't play yesterday, correct?
They didn't play against each other. I don't think the Orioles would have played either. No, they both had the day off yesterday.
Okay, so you got a 7-day West Coast trip, but you had that day off. So
right.
It's not one of those first game backs. I have sent out a couple hit, run, and RBI props on Baltimore tonight. I call them the pesky Orioles. We've been calling them that for a year and a half. The Rays, I think they're not. I saw it on social media today. What are they, like 34-7 at home? Something stupid at home. They're
31-7.
31-7, yeah. So I'm going to stay far away. I think they're giving you a price, though, that they're trying to bait you to the Rays tonight. I'm seeing it as low as 169 at penny right now. So money is trickling in on the Orioles. If you want Glasnow, get in the first 5 minus the hook. If you like the Orioles today, I think you can get some plus money on them over their team total 3.5 at plus 105. So if you like the Orioles, you can get in a little plus money that way. I think the Orioles are sneaky tonight. That's how I'll close this.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you at all there. Kansas City and Detroit, we could cruise past this unless you've got some strong thoughts. Danny Lynch, Michael Lorenzen. Lynch start number 5 for him. 7 innings, 7 earned runs last time out, 4 bombs allowed. Lorenzen 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs his last time out. 6 earned runs in each of his last 2. Detroit, however, 4 out of their last 5 in the victory column for them. And obviously you know where Kansas City is. Ended their losing streak, and now it's back to a 2-game losing streak. However, these numbers with Detroit, though, I guess it was only 1 game, but I think they didn't play too long ago. But these numbers with Kansas City and some of these teams would have you believing that Kansas City might be a live dog, but obviously the streak continues for the most part here. Any love for Lynch and the Royals tonight, or are the Tigers going to, kind of keep treading water here?
I had an overnight number of the Tigers only minus 130, Royals plus 110. I had an 8.5 over. It is now 140 at circa 128 with Kansas City on the plus side there, an under over of 8.5 juiced under minus 15 cents. To me, that number only could go one way. That's to the Tiger side. Here's what I'd say is, if you stay away from the game and the Tigers win today, then the Royals will probably win the last one. So just stay away. But it does smell. It looks like a Royal number to me. And TJ just asked me, do I like Baltimore money line plus 150? I think that's the side. I think they're really trying to bait us into the Rays. TJ, I like the team total over 3.5 as well. But I'd sprinkle a little beer and pizza on Baltimore to get the outright today.
Okay. Fair enough. I was trying to look and see. I don't like, this is a spot where I don't like taking home run props necessarily in Detroit unless the wind's blasting out. I was trying to see if I can dig into one there, but nothing for me. I believe, let's see, Blue Jays and Miami Marlins. Next one up, Kikuchi and Yuri Perez. Kikuchi's been fairly steady, nothing special, but nothing horrific. 5 innings pretty consistently. 2 earned runs in each of his last 4 games. And Perez, on the other hand, currently 10-1 for the Rookie of the Year, second in the National League behind Corbin Carroll. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks last time versus Seattle. 1 earned run or less in each of his last 4 games. They've got a 5-game win streak. Toronto's got a 1-4 out of their last 5 stretch right now. I've had some success in certain spots with this Marlins team. Unfortunately, last week I told on my solo show, I said if Berrios is good today, then I might be on the fade train next time out, and I backed off of it yesterday, unfortunately. Didn't say he was going to be good. I probably leaned towards him being good. I didn't say I was cannonballing into it necessarily, but I didn't take my advice from last week and ignored it and stayed neutral, and he was not good yesterday. So any thoughts on are we going to get some Yuri where are you at with Yuri Perez? I guess we can start. Fan of his, going to keep going along, or is there some regression on the horizon here?
I mean, backstage we said, in what world are the Marlins going to be favored over the Jays? And yet my overnight number was short favorites, and they still are down at Circa right now, 115 at Jazz, 118. 115 at South Point. Total respect for what they're doing. We did get the bad Berrios, and I think we're going to actually probably see a little more regression from Kikuchi. I respect the opening number here. Yes, there should be some regression coming in with the rook for the Marlins. If I was playing Toronto today and I wanted some plus money, I wouldn't go for the win. I can go over and get their team total over 4.5 plus 120. So if they're going to break out, I think they break out in a big way versus trying to sweat a 9 inning and get the win and worry about Kikuchi, worry about the back end. So if you like Toronto, get them to get to 5 plus 120. Marlins playing great. Trust and respect the opening number, which was the Marlins as a short favorite.
Yeah. No, and as far as I've been vocal, I've been a team that was liking this Marlins team to at least be closer to 500, let alone what they've got going on. But their offense is probably due for some regression at some point too. Whether that's today or not, I don't know. But because I agree with you as far as Kikuchi probably having some ugly starts on the horizon as well. Aside from today, the Marlins offense is probably going to have some regression back to the mean a little bit throughout the rest of the season here. So. I don't know if that plays into the next week or so, but at some point, I'm saying the Marlins are probably going to come back to down to earth offensively.
And I think it was Saturday we had Marlins team total over and bases loaded and first and third back-to-back innings. Garrett Cooper, if you're watching this show, you are officially off the Christmas card list. You single-handedly cost us that Marlins team total. And I always screw his name up. I apologize. The kid from the Twins, Arise. His batting average is arising again. I think he went 5 for 5 last night. So hats off to him.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's not in the AL Central. 5 for 5. He's 5 for 5 in 2 of his last 3 games, not just yesterday. He did that on Friday as well. I mean, the guy is just a freak. So anyways, I can't believe he only has 2 home runs this year, honestly. I guess he only had 8 last year, but nonetheless, I mean, you're hitting that often. You got to get a couple up in the jet stream. But anyways, Seattle and New York. Next game up, we mentioned this one as one that is a little wonky looking here. Kirby versus Garrett Cole. Kirby 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 unearned run last time out, 0 walks, 10 Ks. He did face the Yankees on May 31st. Kirby 8 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs allowed. And Garrett Cole, of course, 2 earned runs or less in each of his last 3 in the midst of a potential Cy Young chase. They have lost 4 games in a row, the Yankees, and Seattle is 4-2 last 6, trying to climb out of the funk that they've been in so far through the first 70 games. 115 at home for the New York Yankees with Garrett Cole in the mound, my friend. Any stinkiness coming through the screen over there as you're looking at this game?
There's three stenches of the night. I thought that the Strider stench was number 2. This one is number 1. Where in holy hell, other than Pedro Martinez versus Cole, do you get Cole at minus 110 at home? And right now it's circa 115, Jazz 113, South Point 117. They are begging you to take the Yankees. Come on down. And listen, I know Kirby. Kirby is good, but he's not Cole good. And I can tell you the books will not be getting my Yankee money. ECSI VIPs know where I lean here. I'll give everyone a nugget. It is a part of the Mariners tonight. I think that is the play. Now, listen, Cole spins a gem. God bless him. I mean, I can't remember the last time he was this low as a favorite at home. So I definitely love the Mariners today on the price where my eyes are.
Yeah, no, Kirby is a guy that I've been a fan of trying to kind of figure out when he's going to get rolling. So I could absolutely see it again here tonight. So let's see. Next one up is St. Louis and Washington, Montgomery and Gore. You and I were talking about Mr. Montgomery before the show, I believe. He has been better this month, and he himself hasn't been horrific all season long, but you actually turned this one on to me. This one was not quite on my radar. The Cardinals are 1-11 in his last 12 starts after winning the first couple this season. I think his ERA is sub-4, so it's not like he's getting blown up, start in and start out. I'm not saying he's been fantastic. Gore, on the other hand, 5 2/3 last time, 4 hits, no earned runs. Cardinals are on a 3-game win streak. Kind of keep doing this thing where they win a handful and then fall through the floor again. But they've put up at least 5 runs in all 3 of those games. Nationals on a 4-game losing streak. You and I talked about this. They're 2-12 in their last 14. I believe you and I talked about this team as I think they were already in the midst of a losing streak. But not only on top of the losing streak, you and I thought that there was probably some uglier stretches in them, like we are seeing again right now. So any thoughts on this one at all? Cardinals only minus 150. However, you got the Montgomery angle of this one. I really don't know how to make what to make out of this one. Any thoughts out of you at all on this one?
I had overnight number 130-ish St. Louis with a 9. It is now 138 at Circa with a 9 juiced under. Team totals, we got gifted a down 5-0 Cardinals 6-5 first 5 minus the hook win. We had the team total over 5.5 as well yesterday. If you played against Jordan Lyle yesterday, take your winnings and then take the plus money on Washington tonight and parlay it and roll it over. Trends can be your friends, but it doesn't usually pay the mortgage or the rent. Also, team total, if your number's enough, low, not juicified, as I like to say. I'm looking at Heritage. You get their team total over 3.5, minus 130 there. So, again, if you played against Jordan Lyle last night, well, then go against Montgomery today. Sprinkle a little something on the Nationals to get to 4 or better on their team total as well.
Can't hate it at all. I know you had some interest or action with the Colorado and Cincinnati game yesterday. You've got, I hope I don't botch it, Nick Davis on the mound for Colorado. And Ben Lively on the mound for the Reds today. Start number 4 for Davis. I think he only made 1 appearance last year, so this is appearance number 5 of his career. 2 innings, 7 hits, 7 earned runs last time out for Davis. Lively, 5 2/3, 10 hits, only 2 earned runs versus Kansas City. 10 hits allowed in each of his last 2 starts total, though, or in each of those 2 starts. Reds, obviously, 9-game win streak. Colorado, 6-game losing streak. Any way to get into this one, or are you backing far away from both of these trains altogether?
Well, we talked about 2 weeks ago, Reds at 10-1 to win the division. And then a week later, they were 6-1. And I think now they're a half game out or tied or something. And you can get them you could yesterday before the day get them at like 4 or 5-1.
Half game up. They're in first right now.
Okay. Listen, they got some youth.
Yeah.
They have a team. The Big Red Machine will be back in the next few years. They just threw Green on the IL there. Couple things. I've been fading Lively. Now, how would I fade Lively today? I would go to the Rockies team total over 4.5. You can get that at plus 105. So you need the Rockies to get to 5 or better. My overnight number was minus 150. The public just steamed it up to 180 at Circa, 177 at South Point. I mean, if you want to keep playing the Reds, first 5 minus the hook, I'm not going to give you a 177. If you want to take a swing and then take them full game minus the run line, you can try that. But I've been fading Lively. The price is too big right now for me to back the Reds.
Yeah, no, I've been with you. I think I've been solo on these shows with Lively because, I mean, he's a guy that's struggled to stay in the MLB, and when he's been there, it hasn't been good, and he had, 5 starts in a row, 2 earned runs or less, so it was right there. And obviously had the 2 ugly ones. So, I've been with you there. But and I was on the I'll still stand on the train of Colorado maybe being better once they get back home for a little bit. But it's obviously been ugly on the road as it's been historically for them on the road. But nonetheless, things are ugly in Colorado. They are, along with Washington, teetering on the third spot there out behind Oakland and Kansas City for the third dumpster fire there. So
I'll give out
one
Reds nugget. I'll give out one Reds nugget. Ellie De La Cruz plus 270 on DraftKings for a stolen base tonight.
Okay.
So if you wanted a little something, hope Ellie gets on, steals second, and you can go cash plus 270 on Mr. De La Cruz to steal a base tonight.
I like it. I've never been a stolen base prop guy, but you've been getting me turned on to it. That's an exciting one. I like that. So, and obviously you've been doing well with them. So I like those ones. All right, moving on. Oakland and Cleveland. Any thoughts on this one? You've got obviously Oakland back, 5-game losing streak. Cleveland's 2-4 last 6, so they had a nice stretch, but kind of not a very good last week or so. Medina, 12 earned runs over his last 11 2/3 innings. And Savali, not terrible, but did not make it too far. 3 2/3, so not very good, but 5 hits, 2 earned runs last time out over 95 pitches. Anything to do out of this one, or are you moving right past it?
For a pure system play, the 5.5 team totals have been coming in. I mean, if you want any kind of Guardian action, you can take their team total over 5.5 to get to 6 or better at plus 115. Oakland, I have, by the way, Waldichuk.
Yeah, I was just about to say I must have looked at that. This one a little too early today. I did not see the change. It is Waldichuk, yep.
But if you've been noticing the Oakland A's, who were, remember, historically the worst team ever put on the field, and now the Royals, no one's talking about, have the worst record in the major leagues. But Oakland's pitching has been better of late. The over-unders have been sneaking at 8.5, 9. The team totals. So just keep an eye on this Oakland team. And the Esteury Ruiz, funny, on DraftKings, minus 135 or 155 to get a stolen base. So they don't even bother with him anymore. If you want him to get a stolen base, you're going to pay the meal tax there. So he's on pace for like 81, 82 stolen bases or something. So anyways, if you need some Guardians action to scratch an itch, maybe they get to 6. You don't need the extra point or the 2-point conversion.
There you go. All right, next one up. I'm coming to you. Give me we've got Boston and Minnesota. Boston, 5-game win streak right now, playing Minnesota. 1-4 last 5. Had a rough weekend against Detroit. Lost yesterday, obviously. Carter Crawford, however, 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned run last time. He's had a short leash in just about all of his starts those last couple months here. Ober, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned run last time out. Any thoughts on this one? And obviously, updated thoughts on the Red Sox in general. Offense obviously smoked through New York and has been taking care of business. Was fantastic again yesterday.
The Red Sox bucked the trend. It was funny. Last Sunday night, they played in the Bronx. They came home against Colorado. Bad delay, rain, whatever, and Colorado beats them in extras. That's that Sunday night travel game. Well, then, of course, they host the Yankees, sweep the Yankees in a doubleheader, travel to Minnesota, and, of course, they go box to wire 9-3 last night. The Alex Cora watch currently is off. Everyone's holding hands and singing Kumbaya here again in Boston. They win 5 in a row, they lose 5 in a row. They win. This is what a 78, 79 win team does. The only promising star I can say is Bello, whatever you want to call him. He is now rounded into the form that we thought he was. He will be the ace moving forward. My overnight number was 110. The public is just steam in Minnesota. 134 at Circa, 130 at South Point, 139 at Jazz, 8.5 over. I'm just going to go on record, and Ober-1 Kenobi finds a way, and the Twins. But, I mean, if you want to ride the red-hot Red Sox, please do. I mean, the Twins are not doing much of late.
No, I mean, they're at a point where you would absolutely make the case that their entire pitching staff, top to bottom, is due for some slight. And I'm not talking about today because I agree with you. Ober could be fine, but just in general, pitching staff due for some regression. You could also make the case that their offense is due to have some better production coming up, so it might even themselves out. But obviously 36 and 37 in their first place in the AL Central, keeping everybody except for the worst team in baseball alive. So. Speaking of moving into the other AL Central team that I call my favorite team, the Chicago White Sox. Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox. Eovaldi on the other side for Texas. Cease obviously last 3 times out, starting to round into form a little bit. Has been a lot better there. Eovaldi on his side of things, a little bit of regression, still not bad by any means. 4 and 3 earned runs last 2. But this White Sox offense, White Sox 1 and 4 last 5. They are a team that's been getting some momentum and then lose all of it. Offense 4 or less in each of their last 5. However, their home runs are starting to climb a little bit. But they're all solos, Jeff. They've got 12 home runs in their last 6 games. 11 of them are solo home runs, and the other one is a 2-run shot. I looked back. They haven't hit a 3-run or better home run since June 4th, and it was Jake Berger's walk-off grand slam. I'm never going to scoff at a walk-off grand slam, but all he needed was a sac fly there, so it really wasn't that necessary. But my point is, if you've been taking some home run props on the White Sox, I'm sure you've been living large these last couple of weeks, but they're either not driving guys in when they are on base, and when they're hitting their bombs, there's nobody on base. So there's still some optimism there to deal with, but you get a report that came out today from Bob Nightingale, who I know White Sox have an interesting and a jaded relationship with, but mentioned that there's been veteran players that have expressed that they haven't asked for a trade, but they expressed that they'd be fine if they got traded. So, which I don't think is really a surprise if that is the case. I think anybody could have came to that conclusion. But nonetheless, Rangers on a 3-game win streak. White Sox, as I mentioned, 1 and 4 last 5. Dylan Cease 2 earned runs and 4 hits or less in each of his last 3, so he's been much, much better. And his control's been a lot better lately. So it is Eovaldi. I could absolutely see Eovaldi dominating the White Sox. I could see Dylan Cease having a fantastic start in his own right. You have an 8.5 total, though, which is kind of messing with my head as far as what I just said. So is one or both of these guys having an off night, or is this just a little mind games, and we've got a 2-1, 3-2 pitching duel here?
The overnight number, Texas short favorites, 130. With the 9, that's the key number, 9. Again, it's going to be the first 1 to 5 gets it done today, and you would expect a nice pitcher's duel here. And I think the number is short on Cy Eovaldi. DeGrom done for the year. Who cares for the Rangers because we got Cy Eovaldi here. But again, I think it's a White Sox number. And I have been noticing the homers. I'm going to go. I think the White Sox are a live dog, number 1. Number 2, I like their team total over 3.5. And number 3, Eloy Jimenez with a home run tonight.
I like it. I didn't say it on the show, but I ended up taking 2 props. One that I took on the show that didn't get there for a different game. Luis Robert last night. He's actually getting the night off anyways, so I think he has a decent history against Eovaldi, so that's a little annoying as far as him getting in the action. But I love it. Eloy is due for a nice hot stretch, so I could absolutely see that for sure. He's a guy that if the White Sox offense is getting back and rolling, he's got to be all-star level the rest of the year, honestly. So. No, I like to hear it. I could see Dylan Cease being real good tonight too. I could see the offense being a lot better tonight. So, let's see. Moving on from that one, Arizona and Milwaukee. I don't have any type of feel for this pitching matchup. D-backs win 9-1 yesterday. Ryan Nelson versus Colin Ray. Any thoughts on this one at all from you? Because I these two pitchers, I got no feel for this one whatsoever.
I have to look at the overnight number, and it was the Brewers minus 145 with an 8.5 under, down to 120 with a 9. Trust and respect the opening number. Listen, this Arizona team has been a wagon. They get on base, they steal bases, they go first to third like nobody's business. I call him Cy Ray. He has shown flashes. I'm going to just initially say get in, get out. I like the Brewers. I like the Brewers' first 5 tonight. I think they get in and they get out. Diamondbacks have shown some slow starts and some fast finishes. So kind of sort of hoping that's what we see tonight. But again, it's more on the opening number or the overnight number of 145 versus where the public and the corrected number is.
Right. No, I'm with you on that one. And I think I was leaning slightly to the D-backs yesterday, and it was a runaway one there. So I wish I was a little more aggressive on that one yesterday, but because it was Merrill Kelly and Corbin Burns there. But good pitching matchup here. Obviously, Verlander's been a little all over the place, but Verlander, Valdez, Verlander a lot better last time. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run last time versus the Yankees. Mets and Houston is the game that I'm talking about. Framber Valdez, one of my favorite pitchers in baseball, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned runs last time against Washington. Astros actually on a 5-game losing streak. Mets win yesterday 11-1 against, I think it was against Houston, right? They, started the series yesterday. And now we are looking at, with both these guys on the mound, Houston minus 134 right now. I don't know. I'm always a little, I like Valdez in a bounce back spot. That's my spot that I usually attack a little bit with him on the mound. Any thoughts whatsoever? Are we going to get some regression from one of these guys?
I said there was 3 stenches of the night. The 4th stench obviously would be this one. Verlander, when do you ever get him as a dog? And he's coming back to Houston. So there's 2 angles right there. Yeah. But I love the Valdez bounce back. This Houston team, don't forget, struggling, number 1. Number 2, their anchor, their Ortiz, their big stick is still on the IL there. Why am I drawing a brain fart there? Alvarez, yes. So there is a hole there. But again, my overnight number was only 115 with a 9.5 under. Corrected number 7.5 juiced under minus 25 cents. And it's circa 143 right now. As high as 153 at Jazz. I can't buy that sizzle. If you want to take Houston today and you're going to lay that number, please do it. Buyer beware. Buy the hook first 5. Hopefully you're winning by 1. Mets scoring 11 yesterday is scary. Do they piggyback off of that? Usually not. I think it's a good spot for the Astros. And again, when do you get Verlander as a dog? I mean, never mind coming back to Houston. So
I honestly forgot about the Houston angle of it as well. I mean, especially you get a good one under his belt last week too. And I sometimes have blinders with Valdez because I'm such a believer in him. So I know I'm with you. It is something to look at for sure. So. A couple more left. This last one, second to last one here. San Diego, San Francisco. Giants on an 8-game win streak. They win 7-4 over San Diego yesterday, who is actually playing a lot better ball, at least compared to what they had been. Lugo on the mound for San Diego, making his first start off the IL, so I'm not too interested in getting into it. DeSclafani, 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, starting for the Giants. That was his last start. Are you trying to get in front of or back this Giants train at all? I think I said yesterday, obviously they win yesterday, but if you're trying to jump in the Giants after 7 games, it's probably not going to work out for you. Obviously won last night, but probably not going to continue working out for you if you jump on after that. But I also am not a fan of jumping into first start after an IL in Lugo's case for San Diego.
You know, it's funny. Yesterday, San Fran opened up short favorites. San Diego closed as the favorite. 4-0 lead, 4-2, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, and miraculously San Fran ties it, and then a 3-run walk-off homer by Yaz. As I said in the alert, it's not the Yaz, the Carl Yastrzemski from the 70s of the Red Sox. Why did that happen? Josh Hader was not available. And now, so you get the hot streak from San Fran, who opened up short favorites, and now Lugo and the Padres are favored. And guess what? Hader is available. So again, I'm not one to back guys coming off ILs. I am one to back numbers and read in the market. I have no problem saying the Padres win tonight with Hader available.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm not disputing that at all by any means as far as my stance either there. So.
No. And I wasn't,
yeah.
Because I'm the same way when it comes backing guys off the IL. It could be one of these, hey, kid, get us 3 or get us 4. I'm more intrigued of the Giants' 8-game winning streak with Descafani, who's shown flashes.
Oh, yeah.
And not favored, which something smells. So there's another stench tonight.
100% there. And staying in California for the last one, actually, Dodgers and the LA Angels. Clayton Kershaw, Reed Detmers. You've mentioned a few stenches tonight, my friend, and there is one missing that we haven't added to it. Kershaw, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned run last time against my White Sox. Detmers, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run last time against the Texas Rangers. Angels, 11-3 last 14 games. Dodgers just coming off of a sweep against those Giants that we just talked about. And I mentioned stenches of the nights. You've mentioned 2 big ones and then a fourth trickling in there. There is a third one to add, and I believe you are leading into this one, my friend. Kershaw on the mound, only -130 favorite here against the Angels.
And an overnight number, literally, of opening a 120, a 9 under -15. The public, the Circa, the South Point, they're all saying, come on down, guys. We got the Love You Blue over here. Lines will open up more lines. When do you get Kershaw on the road versus an Angels team? Now, listen, no disrespect to the Angels. They're playing great ball. They're in the playoffs right now if they were to start. But Kershaw is only -123 with a 9. Dodgers struggling. Their back end has been putrid. And surprisingly, as you said, the 11-3 Angels, the last 14, their back end has been phenomenal. So buyer beware on Kershaw. If you want Kershaw tonight, go in at the first 5. That's what I suggest. With a 9, I think maybe he hangs one to a struggling Mike Trout. Maybe Shohei catches one. And on the flip side, Detmers hangs one to Mookie, hangs one maybe to JD Martinez or someone of that. I'm going to say buyer beware on the Dodgers, and somehow, some way, this game finds an over 9. That's my guess.
No, I mean an 8.5 in a game where we've got Kershaw, and I know Reed Detmers is 1-5, but he's got a couple hot starts under his belt right now. I mean, there's something there as far as something to look at as far as that is concerned alone. So, no, I'm glad we cleaned that up as far as the last stench of the night. I mean, Kershaw is not vintage Kershaw, but he's still 8-4 with a 2.95 ERA for goodness sake. So. Nothing to scoff at, but that does it for tonight's baseball slate, my friend. Anything else to mention? We've got one college game, LSU, Tennessee. TCU gets the win, moving on. Oral Roberts heading home. Good story there, obviously. But LSU, Tennessee, as you mentioned, I was watching it as well. LSU, Wake Forest, unbelievable game last night with some drama there. Now LSU, Tennessee elimination game here in an hour or so.
I'm looking at overnight numbers and moving numbers. LSU now at circa -130, and under over 11. There are some 11.5s. And it sounds like, following our buddies Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills at CBSB Insiders, the world is on LSU tonight. And I don't know. All these games have been unders. So if you want some pizza, beer, and popcorn and enjoy a game, I'm going to go over 11. If you can get 11 somewhere, get the over. I see 11.5s. I just think both teams will find a way to score early and often. And I'll say on record, first 1 to 7 wins tonight. How's that?
I like it. I'm grabbing my popcorn and I'm probably gonna do something goofy with this one. So I'm jumping into that. I have no expertise whatsoever as far as these college games, but it has been fun to watch, man. And I'm glad that both college baseball and college softball is starting to pick up some steam these last couple 3 years. So I'm glad for it. and I am included in that boom as far as popularity. I never really grew up on it, so I'm glad that it's coming around, and I've been especially SEC baseball, for goodness sake. So I have been enjoying it, so I'm glad it's been delivering. At least one game a day has been delivering, so I'm glad for it.
And again, 2 weeks from now, July 4th, and Riley, that means you got about 2 months to start working on your Friday Big Ten review, as we're going to be getting closer to some Big Ten football. So we can't wait there. It's coming in about 1 hour. What's it, 6 maybe? About a half hour, 45 minutes. Myself and Scott Webb will be back. We're going to break down some more MLB tonight, see what Scotty's been up to. It's been a couple weeks since him and I did a show. So we'll be back tonight. Me and Riley will be back tomorrow. Let me see, 3 o'clock. I got Andrew McGinnis talking CFL. You and I will be on 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. And then at 6 o'clock, Brady Cannon will be back talking Travelers. So not Blues Travelers, but the Travelers Open. So any closing thoughts?
No, not too much. It is a good field for the Travelers. I'm taking a week off after the major. I typically don't like to dive too far. I'm not saying anybody can't have a good angle on it, but I have personally never really had success going in the second week after a major, so I'm taking a breather on this one, at least for the pre-flop odds. But that's just my personal strategy there. So I'm obviously Brady Cannon's coming with loaded tomorrow night with plenty of stuff, I'm sure. But no, I'm happy for the success over the weekend with the U.S. Open, so hoping to parlay that into some future blogs and golf obviously shows as far as this is concerned, and tournaments the rest of the way. So I didn't even realize until today the BMW Championship, the second to last leg of the FedEx playoffs, is south of Chicago. So you may or may not see me out there for one of those days in late August for that tournament. I might have to get myself out to that. So aside from that, I've been circling the wagons, lurking on some. With you guys picking up on the MLB props, I might have to throw my hat in the ring a little bit with some MLB prop blogs or something here. Starting up maybe this week or next week. So that's all I've got for closing thoughts, though. It's been obviously we got the dog days of summer with mostly MLB, but as we just broke down in about 40 minutes of MLB, I'm still ready to roll. And obviously, as ugly as the White Sox season's been, whatever, 5.5 games out, they're still alive. So no, we're still rocking and rolling with everything. So and as you mentioned, it's only a matter of time before football is back. Big Ten football and NFL is concerned for me. So, nothing but great things coming along. So I'm happy to be rolling alongside you, my friend.
Well, as you said, everyone's asking football. And the funny thing is, you guys, you just had a major golf tournament. We got a month before the British Open. We're trying to dabble in some CFL with Andrew McGinnis. 2 weeks off in lacrosse with the Premier Lacrosse, and then our ace in the hole over there in Philly. We'll be back from Wager Talk talking some lacrosse there. Mr. Dan Alexander. We'll be talking some NFL. We'll be kicking off the Hall of Fame game first week of August. So All-Star break coming up in less than a month and 3 weeks. So plenty of stuff to get involved. Anyone have any comments, questions, concerns can find myself at EC Sports Invest or Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. If you need to email us at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. For myself, Jeff Dawson, from Riley Magnuson, we wish everyone a great night. Sprinkle a little something on some props. We gave out a few here, a little beer and pizza on a few dogs. Enjoy the college baseball game, and we'll see you soon.